direct all of the Theodore leadership initiatives here at the school. And we have been planning for this day for a long time, and we are so excited that you've chosen to spend the day with us. Our goal really is always twofold when it comes to this conference. We want to ignite enthusiasm and inspire action in students, and our theme this year is Stick With It. And so we've got an amazing day planned. We have some incredible guest speakers who are in town. We've got a community expo. We've got Yellowhammer, who's already had some Yellowhammer coffee this morning. So it's going to be a fun day. But before we jump into our speakers and some games and other activities, I was hoping to just spend a few minutes with you this morning to just kind of lay the foundation for what we're going to be doing today. Does that sound good? Can we hang out for a few minutes and kind of lay a foundation for what this day is going to look like? So to do so, I have brought along one of my favorite possessions. It's my label maker. Now I know we just met. You can laugh. It's okay. I have a label maker. All right. Anybody else love label makers? City Hall loves a label maker. Yeah. So yeah, I love label makers. You can type words in and print out labels, and then you can stick them on boxes or cabinets or people or whoever. It's great. So today I actually printed some labels for us. So I'm going to call out what's on this label, and if this label describes you, just want you to raise your hand, make some noise, give me a shout out. If this describes you, the first label I have here says senior. Any seniors? Any seniors in the room? Okay, senior, okay. How many days for graduation? Y'all know, y'all were counting down. All right, here's my next label, freshman. Whoa, we got some excited freshmen. Good job, freshmen. This next one says athlete. Do I have any athletes? This next one is super specific. It says, birthday girl from MGM. Birthday girl from MGM. I got a hand out here. I've got a hand. Birthday girl from MGM. I hear somebody's birthday. Happy birthday, Amelia Lindsay. This next one says teacher. We have any teachers in the room? Teacher. Teachers, thank you for coming today. You know, field trips sound fun, but they're a lot of work. We all know that. Field trips are a lot of work. So thank you for being here. You know, this next one could be a little risky. I don't know if I should do this one. Auburn fan. And names can stick with you, you know. I have a nickname that has stuck with me for a while, okay? And I first got it was years and years ago when I was in Isaiah Tromay. In fact, where are my friends back here? So, my friends back here, what do y'all sometimes call me besides Allison? Big Al is what they call me. Now, y'all listen up. So I got this name when I was in Isaiah Tromay, and I thought, okay, well, after I graduate from high school, it will die out. Well, then I went to college with a girl that I had been a trailmate with, and so then it followed me to college, and it stuck. And then one day, one of my college friends actually came to where I was teaching, and my friends heard, and then they started calling me. So I can't get rid of this nickname. Like, I have even gotten mail addressed to my house that says Big Al. True story. And that's okay. I mean, that's all good. I mean, nicknames can be good. Big Al, maybe you're called Daddy's little girl. Maybe you've been homecoming queen or the class president. So nicknames can be good. But sometimes nicknames and labels aren't so nice, right? We might have had some names attached to us that maybe weren't so nice. Maybe it's failure, maybe it's loser, maybe it's accident or mistake. So y'all listen to me. Sometimes when we have those kind of nicknames, it's not so fun. Now I know I just kind of took a serious turn there real quickly, didn't I? But here's what I want you to hear right up front. If anybody has ever put those labels on you, maybe it is mistake, maybe it is accident, they're wrong. That's a lie. Because if you're here, if you're breathing, if you have a pulse, you have a purpose. Okay? You have a purpose. And so I want you to understand that today, that you have a purpose. And so today, I just want us to think right here at the beginning of the day, to think about what we're going to be known for. Because we can let other people name us and stick labels on us, or we can choose what we want to be known for. We're going to be known for something. So we have to decide what we're going to be known for. So today I want to encourage us to be known for a couple of things to kind of lay the foundation. So this is the time, if you haven't done so already, I want you to look into your bag and grab your program book and your pen so you can take some notes. Now you're thinking, Miss Miller, do I have to take notes? Yes, because here's the thing. I'm not so much worried about you, but I'm a little concerned about the person sitting to your left. Don't look at them, that's awkward, don't look at them. I'm a little concerned. So I kind of think that the person on your left might need some leadership today, so I need you to take good notes so that you can help them out. So you have your program book, you have your pen. So I'm going to ask everyone to settle down and get quiet. And let's talk about some things that we need to stick with this morning. Here's the first one. It's going to be on the screen. Here's the first thing I want us to remember to stick to. I want us to stick to finishing, not just starting. Stick to finishing, not just starting. Now, starting is good, starting is important, starting is awesome. But sometimes starting is the easy part. Like, even I can start writing a novel. Once upon a time. See, I did it. I just started writing a novel. But that doesn't make me J.K. Rowling or earn me a Pulitzer Prize. A lot of us, we kind of struggle with finishing. Take New Year's resolutions, for example. Tons of people make New Year's resolutions, but studies tell us that 92% of people don't finish their New Year's resolutions. That means that, like, you have a better chance of getting into Juilliard to become a ballerina than you do of finishing your New Year's resolutions. Like, it's that crazy. And sometimes that's not a huge deal. Like, I bet if you clean out my car right now, you might find anywhere from like 3 to 5 chapstick tubes that I never finished. Right? That's not a big deal. That's not life-threatening. But if you don't maybe finish high school, or finish your goal of becoming a nurse, or finish your goal of helping a social condition, that's not quite chapstick level quitting, is it? And I think most of us want to be finishers. We don't want to be quitters. It's just not easy. It's hard sometimes, and that shouldn't really come as a shocker to us. I mean, if finishing were easy, everybody would be doing it. And unfortunately, more people are more successful in life and they don't finish their goals because it's hard to finish. So how can we be finishers and not just starters? I'm so glad you asked. Here's three things I want us to think about. The first one is the person on your left awake before we move on? Okay, just checking, make sure the person on your left is awake. Here's the first one. You need to prepare at the beginning. Write that down. Prepare at the beginning. preparation before you begin. Now, let me give you a real-world example of this. A few years ago, when I went to visit my brother David, who lives in San Francisco, I decided that I wanted to bike across the Golden Gate Bridge. Sounds amazing, right? So I booked my tour with a company who would provide the bike and provide a guide to get you there. I showed up, I put on my little helmet, and I get ready. And I think I have a picture here. Now, I know I'm basically a shadow in this picture, but here's what I want you to notice in this picture. Look how far the Golden Gate Bridge is away from where I am. It's pretty far, y'all. And I don't know if you've ever been to San Francisco, there's a pretty significant elevation difference between where I am and where the Golden Gate Bridge is. Y'all, I was only about 5 or 10 minutes into this bike ride when I was ready to quit. I realized I had not adequately prepared for this. Like, I don't even know when I had ridden a bike last. Like, maybe when I was 12, maybe when I had training wheels, I don't know. I had not packed enough water. I had to stop and buy more. I wore blue jeans. What idiot wears blue jeans for a long bike ride? I mean, I was really wanting in that moment, I wish I would have bought some of those padded bike shorts, you know? Like, that would have been helpful. So I had not prepared, so I wanted to give up. And I wanted to quit. Now, thankfully, I didn't. I stuck with it. In fact, I've got proof. There I am. I made it across the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, I did take the ferry back. Okay? We take the ferry back to the other side. But I almost quit. I almost gave up on crossing one of the modern wonders of the world because I had not adequately prepared. So sometimes we just got to do a better job preparing. Maybe that's buying padded bike shorts. Maybe it's saving some money. Maybe it's recruiting the right people. Maybe it's setting realistic goals. Sometimes I think we sabotage ourselves because we don't set our goals well. Now, I'm not saying not to dream big or shoot for the stars or any of those things we put on motivational posters, but sometimes you've got to kind of take your goals in bite sizes. For example, if you've never been a runner, maybe your first goal shouldn't be to run a marathon. Maybe you should run a 5K. Maybe just a K. You know what I'm saying? Like, run a K, run a 5K, run a half marathon, then run a marathon. So we've got to prepare if we're going to stick to finishing and not just starting. Okay? We also, in addition to preparing at the beginning, we've got to move forward in the middle. We've got to move forward in the middle. Sometimes we prepare, we get started, and we're moving, and all of a sudden we just come to a screeching halt. We just kind of get stuck. But we've got to keep moving forward one step at a time. Will Rogers said, even if you're on the right road, you'll get run over if you just sit there. You've got to keep moving. I've been on a little bit of a Walt Disney kick lately, just kind of learning more about his life. And Walt Disney was really known to be a dreamer, but he was also a doer. And there were quite a few times in his life where he kind of risked being stuck when he had to move forward. One was when he decided that he was going to make the first full-length animated movie, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Everybody thought it was crazy. The Hollywood press called the movie Disney's Folly. But Disney kept working. It took 3 years. It took 750 people. It took $1.5 million, but he kept moving forward. He kept taking one step and one step. And then in 1937, when that movie was released, it made more money than any other movie up to its time. It also won a Special Academy Award because he kept moving forward. When he had the idea for Disneyland, happiest place on earth, he risked getting stuck. His own brother, Roy, led the board to vote against him. They wouldn't approve Disneyland. But he had to keep moving forward. He had to form another company. He had to borrow money. He had to go to some TV companies to get their support, but he kept moving forward to open Disneyland. So you have to keep moving forward, even when you risk getting stuck. I kind of think about when a baby's learning to walk. Now, I don't have any kids, but I have a lot of friends with kids, so here's what I've observed about kids learning to walk. First of all, they kind of look like a drunk person on tightrope, right? You know, they're like this, and they fall down all the time. But you know what I've never seen? I've never seen one of those kids fall down and they get up there. You know what? This walking thing just isn't for me. I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to go back to rolling around on the ground. This is too hard. No. They get up and they keep putting one foot in front of the other until they finish their goal of walking. So be like a baby. Keep walking. Somebody should tweet that out. Be a baby. Keep walking. Okay? You got to keep moving forward in the middle. And then the last thing that we've got to do to be able to stick with finishing is we've got to embrace success or failure at the end. Embrace success or failure at the end. Now, I don't need to talk about embracing success. We all know how to do that. Our Instagram and Snapchat accounts are full of us embracing our wins in life. But sometimes you're not going to win. Sometimes you're going to fail. 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 Aren't you glad you came to this motivational conference? Isn't this motivation? But here's the thing. It's the truth. Anyone that we typically look at as being successful in life, having historical significance, have experienced failures. Some of the people we see on TV all the time. Beyonce. Queen Be Yourself. She was on a talent show when she was a kid, and guess what? She lost. Lady Gaga, she's been all over the news lately. Lady Gaga was dropped by her first record label after 3 months. But they feel kind of silly now, don't they? Bill Gates. Bill Gates, the Microsoft dude, right? He tanked his first tech company. Oprah. Like the Oprah that, we don't even have to know her last name. We just know who she is, right? She was fired from her first television job. She was told she was unfit for TV. Everybody experiences failure. Okay? But you still have to finish. Don't let your fear of failure keep you from finishing. Finish even if you fail, because sometimes failure is a really great teacher. And one thing I've learned in life is that a lot of times the pain of regret is often stronger than the pain of failure. You don't want to look back one day and wish that you had finished something and regretting giving up just because you were a little scared. And you know what else you need to embrace? Sometimes you've got to embrace those moments when you don't totally fail, but you don't totally succeed either. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. Some of us don't finish because we're grappling with perfectionism. I'm a recovering perfectionist. But I'm learning that perfectionism is really a liar, because perfectionists always lose. Because nobody's perfect. But you can't let that fear, somebody you may have even said, hey, I'm going to get a 100 in this class. And maybe when you made a grade that lets you know, hey, I'll never get a 100 this semester, you just kind of gave up. Sometimes we just quit because we can't be perfect, but it's okay to not be perfect. Sometimes we just have to finish. We have to finish. So our big point number 1, stick to being a finisher, not just a starter. Is the person on your left hanging with us? You're still with us? Good. All right. Here's the second big point, and my last big point. Write this down. Stick with your principles, not just popularity. Stick with your principles, not just popularity. Now, there's nothing wrong with popularity. Popularity is awesome. It's just not enough. And the hard thing is that sometimes popularity is in direct conflict with our principles. Now, what do I mean by principles? Well, principles are the standards by which you behave. Your principles signify what's important to you. And I like to think of principles sort of like guardrails. You know what a guardrail is. A guardrail on a road or a highway is a system designed to keep vehicles from straying. Maybe off of a bridge, off of a curve, off of a median. You're most likely to find guardrails in those areas that are dangerous. And the assumption is that those guardrails keep us from something that may harm us. And I think we need to establish guardrails or principles in all areas of our lives. I think a lot of people's biggest regrets could have been avoided if they had had some key guardrails, principles in their lives, whether it's academically, financially, in their health, in their relationships. And you see, we don't put up guardrails on curves and bridges because a bunch of people are intentionally trying to drive off the bridge or off the curve. We don't plan to wreck our cars. We also don't plan to wreck our lives. We we just don't always do things to not wreck our lives. Like, we don't plan to, not finish college, and we don't plan to marry the wrong person, and we don't plan to get addicted to a substance. A lot of times we don't plan not to. So guardrails can help you plan to not wreck your life. So how do we do that? 3 quick tips about how we can stick to our principles. First, you've got to establish your principles early. Like now, as a teenager. Some of us can't stick to our principles because we don't even know what they are. And principles can be really broad, they can be really specific. Let me give you some examples from some real people who have lived and have expressed their principles. Rosa Parks said, "I believe we are here on the planet Earth to live, grow up, and do what we can do to make this world a better place for all people to enjoy freedom." You see, one of her key principles was equality for all people, and that's how she lived her life. When President George H.W. Bush passed away in December, a list of some of his principles that he had handwritten were revealed, and one of them said this. He said, "Don't brag about yourself, let others point out your virtues, your strong points." One of his principles was humility. Chris Pratt, the actor from Guardians of the Galaxy, when he received the MTV Generation Award, he shared 9 essential principles for life. That's another way of saying his 9 principles. Now, some of them were a little silly, but I like number 5. This is what he says. "It doesn't matter what it is, earn it. A good deed, reach out to someone in pain, be of service. It feels good and it's good for your soul." Get the idea? Your principles can be as simple as be kind to others, or as detailed as, hey, I'm not going to post something in response on Instagram that I shouldn't. It can be as idealistic as, hey, I want to dream big, to as specific as, hey, every time I get a paycheck, I'm going to put 10% in the bank to save money. But you got to figure out, what are my principles going to be? Because you can't stick to them unless you have them. But then once you establish your principles, you have to monitor your feelings cautiously. That's the second one here. You got to monitor your feelings cautiously. Now, feelings are great. Feelings are important, but they can't always be the dominant factor in how we live our lives. Like, listen to your heart, made for a great 80s rock song, but it's not always good advice. If our feelings match our principles, fantastic. I've just found that a lot of times that's the exception and not the norm. In fact, sometimes doing the right thing and sticking to your principles does not come with a good vibe. Sometimes being nice to someone doesn't feel good. Sometimes saying no to go to a location or a party you shouldn't doesn't feel like the right thing. Sometimes serving others isn't what you feel like doing. But those things are still right. Martin Luther King Jr. said the time is always right to do what's right. Your feelings might make you want to do the popular thing, but remember that you got to be in this for the long haul. You see, when you graduate from your high school, you're going to be known for something. When you leave a job, you're going to be known for something. When you get out of a relationship, you're going to be known for something. What do you want to be known for? Do you want to be known as the cheater, the arrogant person? Do you want to be known as, hey, that person was really nice, that person was a leader? Popularity can make you stand out for a moment, but your principles will make you stand out for a lifetime. You've got to choose your principles over your popularity. So establish your principles early, monitor your feelings cautiously, and lastly, choose your friends wisely. Choose your friends wisely. It is almost impossible to stick to the right principles if you surround yourself with the wrong people. When it comes to your core group of people, the people you hang out with, the people you spend your most time with, the people you share the good and the bad with, man, it helps when those people share your principles. They don't have to share your passions. They don't have to share your hobbies. They don't have to share your favorite ice cream flavor. Mine's cookies and cream. But man, it does help when you have similar guardrails in life. Because here's the deal, if your friends are trying to pull you away from your principles, they may not be the right friends. If your boyfriend or girlfriend is trying to get you to break your principles, they're probably not the right boyfriend or girlfriend for you. If your boss is asking you to check your principles at the door, probably not the right job. We've got to make a decision for the long term to stick to our principles, and we can't make relationship decisions based only on our feelings. Because our popularity might make us known, but our principles will make us worth knowing. Let's be people worth knowing. I want to wrap up this little introduction today by thinking about the legacy of a very famous American. This is someone that you've probably all heard of. Let me give you a few facts about this person. This American joined the Continental Army in April of 1775 when the Revolutionary War broke out. He helped capture a British garrison in upstate New York in May of 1775. Later that year, he led an expedition to rally the inhabitants of Canada to the Patriot cause. In the latter part of 1776, this guy played a crucial role in hindering a British invasion from Canada into New York. His performance at the Battle of Lake Champlain rescued the Patriot cause from potential disaster. I mean, this guy's pretty impressive, right? But here's the thing. The description that stuck to this man was not patriot. The name that this guy is known for is not hero. In fact, the one word that has stuck to this guy for over 200 years is traitor. In fact, a lot of times we use his name to describe someone who has betrayed another. Benedict Arnold. Even though Benedict Arnold may not have been all bad, the only thing he's remembered for is being a traitor, switching sides, joining the British. Because names stick, labels stick, actions stick. So here's what I want you to think about as we go through the rest of this day, as we go through our speakers, as we go through our community expo, as we go through our day. I want you to think about these questions. What are you going to be known for? What name, what title, what description is going to stick to you? What label are you going to have? And what are you going to choose to stick to? I hope that you'll stick to finishing and not just starting. I hope that you'll stick to your principles and not just your popularity. Think the person on your left got it? I hope so. I hope so. Now, in just a minute, we've got, we're going to let you get up and move around, but we do have a special treat for you. One of our graduates, 2014 graduates, has a special message that he wants to give to you. He just finished up playing for Nick Saban at the University of Alabama, and I know this, you don't get to play SEC football unless you stick to your principles and you stick to finishing. So at this time, please direct your attention to the screen for a message from our own Jamie Mosley.
What's going on, y'all? It's Jamie Mosley here, class of 2014, Theodore graduate, the best class to come through there, hands down. Sorry to burst through the bubbles. I just finished up my playing career here at the University of Alabama, where I earned my undergrad in youth performance and exercise science, and I'm currently finishing up my master's in sports business management, while also training for the NFL draft. Today I just want to give you guys a little nugget on leadership and why it is so important in you guys in society today. I've been blessed to have some great leaders in my life from when I was a child until now. I've been blessed with 2 great parents and a great brother and a great surrounding cast of my family in general. And something that I want to, tell you guys today is that a lot of the greatest leaders all have some of the same qualities and all have some of the same things in common. Nobody's perfect. No humans are perfect. But your greatest leaders are always striving for perfection and saying that they're never complacent. They never feel settled or safe where they are. They always feel like they have to get better each and every day. They never want to stay the same. Some of your greatest leaders are some of the most dedicated people you meet. Some of your greatest leaders are also some of the wisest leaders because they're never afraid to ask questions and learn. They're always willing to learn more. And some of your greatest leaders are always learning by reading.